Welcome to Getting Started with Android. This is Dr. C, and I'm going to take you through a few of the items that are involved in getting your Android project up and running. So let's begin by jumping straight into Eclipse that has the Android SDK loaded. And what I've done is I've created a project called Layout Show. It's the name of the project we're looking at here. So we actually have 4 projects, but we're going to be focusing on Layout Show. Layout Show has a class called Layout 1, which extends activity, which is essentially going to be the driver for the Android application. Now, what I just wanted to show you here is the layout structure that is part and parcel of what you get with using Eclipse and the Android SDK. So these folders are significant and important, and you need to understand them. But for right now, there's a lot of stuff that you see that's part of this project. The one you need to focus on is the source code. So in the source code, we see source org as a path, Frank C, to layout Java that we're looking at right here. Now, if you notice, this is a very small piece of code. It doesn't really do very much other than provide an onCreate method. So remember that the Android environment sort of talks to your Java classes, and when it instantiates them, in fact, when it's going to instantiate this instance of Layout 1, it calls its onCreate method. What the onCreate method does is it simply calls the superclass version of the method provided in the activity superclass, and then this is the key part right here: set content view to r.layout.main. Now, what does that mean? R is a class that you actually can see up here in the gen file. This is a generated Java file. You don't need to worry about it. You never need to touch it. But it is a Java file that is created from the XML file that's used to define the layout and some of the resources that you have. So let's take a look at rlayout.main. Now, what this means is layout is going to be the directory within res. Okay, so that's what we're going to be referring to. And main, it refers to the main.xml file. Now, the XML file is not rolled into R. XML file is used to create static constants and static methods for the R class for optimization purposes. So let's take a look at what main has, because main is going to be where we're going to be defining the layout that this activity class is going to be attached to. So I'm going to click on main, and you can see, I'll move this over here so you can see a little more, the XML file. So this is a typical structure of a layout file. There are several kinds of layouts we can use. We're going to be using something called a table layout, which has rows and columns, very much like an HTML table. These attributes will have been pretty standard. We want the width of the layout to be the same as that of the parent, and the height to be the same as the parent. But we'll take a look right down here, table layout, and then we have a top or a next level. We have a row. So we have a row element, and we have another row element. And so we have 3 rows, and we have a view, and then we have another row and another row, and a view and another row. And this is a way we can declaratively declare the structure of the layout that we're going to be looking at. The only other thing you may, as you look through here, you're going to be We see the table layout. No, okay, that's pretty. So basically, this this application really only uses main XML, the source code, and the key player in this is the Android manifest.xml file. So this is what Android uses when your application starts up and it tries to figure out what to do. So here is our, well, we begin with a top level manifest tag, then there's an application tag, and now our application consists of one activity. Applications can consist of multiple activities, but we've got one, and its name is layout1. That is the name of the class that we defined earlier. Now notice that it's got a dot in front of it, and this is a little shorthand. Notice up here we have package org.frankc, so this creates a reference to org.frankc.layout1, which is the name of the class we're going to execute. The Android label, instead of just a pure string, we could put a pure string here, and that would be the label of our activity, but we use this @string app name. This is a very common technique used in Android when you're trying to separate your concerns in from your application to XML files. So we can actually find this in the resource string directory, and we can look that up and find out exactly what the application name is going to be. But we're not putting a pure string here, although we could. Activities have what's called intent filters. This is a way for your activity to tell Android what you want done with this activity. And so we say there's an action and there's a category. The action, this is a pretty common boilerplate thing, android.intent.action.main. This says when you crank up this application, this activity, layout1, is the one to initially present to the user. Remember, applications can have multiple activities. Think of an activity as a pane, a user interface screen plus code behind it. Although the two are separate, I like to think of an activity as a screen and the code behind that screen giving life to it. So main tells Android we want this application, we want this activity to run as soon as we launch the application, and this reference to the launcher tells Android to put this activity, make it available as part of the choices the user is given when the user presses a general menu key. And so this is the manifest. So the three big pieces in your Android app are going to be the manifest, some layout, and then some source code. And those are the big three that you need to run your app. So let's just take a look at this app. I'm going to click run as Android application, and you can see Android running here. I'll move it up. You can see what's happening. It's kind of taking up the more screen real estate. So now the emulator is running, loading, and here we go. There's Android. And hit menu, and there we are. There's layout 1. It has given us our rows with our content and our columns, and so this gives us this is a way to do a menu with a layout. Now the way this menu is set up is that you can't really doesn't take you anywhere, but it is the basis for helping you get started. So hope that was helpful in showing you the basics of an Android application.